And we also go into this matchup right now. In the bottom right-hand corner, our red Protoss player is Stats. Up against the blue Terran in the top left-hand side, it is ByuN. As we get ready to go into the first game of this best-of-3 series, we're going to see what happens. So, obviously ByuN Stats, they actually play a lot more than you might have thought lately. You know, ByuN Stats does not sound like the kind of matchup that happens super frequently, but especially because Stats has been playing some of the ESL Open Cups, and as has ByuN as he hunts for more ESL points, we do actually find these two kind of playing more frequently than you think. So basically, they played at Asus ROG Online. We know that. That was a big match between them. One where ByuN came out ahead. And then since then, Stats won 2-1 twice. He won in the TSL Qualifier, and he also won in the ESL Open Cup. I think just last week. So about a week or so ago. And that's the actual... This is going to be the 8th time they've met since September. So they've just played in all sorts of stuff, and we've casted some bits of it here and there. But yeah, they've just played in like pretty much everything, which is kind of crazy. I mean, these are two fantastic players, and yeah, especially Stats playing in so much is kind of what amuses me. And then he just meets ByuN a lot, and no, ByuN's typically someone that plays in pretty much everything, but yeah. Alright, well, we get ourselves up and running game 1 of the best-of-3 series, and we do have everything just setting up. So there's a bit of history in terms of kind of, you know, this year, basically. So yeah, I guess to really state the kind of narrative going in is it's a 6-1 lead in series from Stats, 17-11 in maps, but more recently, it's been closer. It's been closer more recently, so that's been, you know, that's kind of the good news if you're a ByuN fan. Plus ByuN just a couple weeks ago, and perhaps one of the biggest matches they played, actually picking up the victory. So we'll see what ByuN wants to go for. He opens with a Reaper, and I mentioned this in his TVC earlier. Reaper expands are not something you necessarily look at and take as a guarantee when ByuN is involved. Right? Like, this is actually not something which you can just be like, oh yeah, that's gonna happen. Because actually, it doesn't just kind of happen all the time. This is something which he really just skip on. He really does just say, okay, no scouting from me, but I'm going to get more Marines up early. I'm going to go into a faster setup otherwise. As you do see the Reaper pulling back around into the center here, and the Adept is going to shade out. He's going to jump in on top of the Reaper already. Twilight Council is about halfway done, and the Adept continue to chase the Reaper out down the bottom left. Is going to be seeing our Stalker popping out in the Warp Gates, about halfway done too. The Reaper hops up into the main base and is going to be, well, unable to do anything with the shield battery. By putting the shield battery here, you allow your units to go across the map aggressively, and 2 Adepts. Yeah, the Widow Mine absolutely necessary and will kill one of the Adepts, but there's still 1 Adept now versus 1 Mine, and that's going to be okay. As at least, of course, the command center is well done, so well, it's just kind of down to this Adept, which will get 1 more SCV. I guess say 1 more, just the first SCV. Yeah, Adept's had a good time here. Now looks for 1 other SCV but doesn't find it. And the Marines will start to push this Adept back and away down to the bottom right. A couple of probes going down over here. Reaper gets picked up. There's going to be seeing our Robo facility coming up. Blink's on the way. Again, this qualifier, 8 players qualify today, so there's going to be a lot of people that get through. And it's not their only chance. They can also, if they would like to, play in the EU server. That's not very likely for the Koreans, but the American server qualifier will also qualify 4 players. So that's going to be 4 more players qualifying next week when the NA qualifier happens on Wednesday and Thursday night if you're in Europe. As these Stalkers intercept, and they do push the medevac away. So that gets pushed back here. Rax goes over to this tech lab, and the Adept, couple of Stalkers settling down on the bottom, and a 3rd Nexus coming in on the right-hand side. Just going to be seeing our Stim still coming through with the extra racks coming in. So ByuN just going to get up to 3 racks here in total. And just going to take this medevac along to, well, toward the natural expansion. Looks like he's going to get there, but the extra Stalkers show up. Now he's going to take a turn into the main. Well, you know what? At least he's going to get to unload the mines, because honestly, for a while here, I didn't think he was. Oh no, the probes are taking a long exit! Wow, only 3 of them go down. The other one gets burrowed for, or the other mine gets burrowed for 1 more kill. Because of the SimCity, the probes go this way, so they stay in range of the mine for longer. And still only caught the tail end, so it was only 3, but it was still much better than this mine drop was looking to be getting done, right? At first, it didn't seem like this Widow mine drop was going to get anything done, but he makes it happen. So good effort from ByuN. Really does find the opening in the end, and he's able to get some damage out of it. Yeah, considering I thought that when Medevac was going to get caught, it got caught middle of the map already. It got caught coming into the natural. Yeah, really good effort. Blink is done as we just sit on 2 gateways. Third Nexus is done up on this right side. So nice quick 3 bases, and Stats just showing us this game he wants to play. No Colossus, just straight into Forge and +1 charge. So Forge and charge coming through. Now a couple Medevacs finish up. I'm just going to come down the left-hand side. So ByuN going to start dropping as he hits Stim Pack. An Observer going to move in the main, and that Observer's going to say, well, you don't have very much here, do you? So he's going to blink in. Uh-oh. How in trouble are our upgrades? Kind of very in trouble, aren't they? Combat Shield's absolutely going to get denied if you can't do anything about this. I mean, the good news is obviously that the Stalkers aren't back at home. So the drop is likely to deal damage, especially in a world where the Zealots don't have charge just yet. Stim finishes, Stats will see that and he'll be like, ah, come on, that was Combat Shields. Obviously, Stim is the jackpot. Combat Shields is still a nice denial, but Stim really is the jackpot. Takes longer to build, generally more useful. Now we have the recall, as we do see the drop in the main base. Gets the Robo Facility already. Just wanted to see if he got the Stalker that was recalling away. He did not, but now we got the drop in the main. Again, kills the Robo already and comes through to kill a bunch of probes as well. Turns around, kills the Immortal. Stalker takes some heavy hits. Sentries are going down, and ByuN gets out of there. Well, he's not out yet, and he will lose the Medevac. A fantastic trade from ByuN. What was lost overall then? 2 Medevacs and obviously the Bio. Obviously, Bio over here was lost as well. He killed now 14 probes in total. The Immortal went down, and like I say, killing the Robo Facility really slows down some of the future tech. Double Robo now from Stats. He'll try and set back up into this, well, tech setup. He's got to be afraid of this next attack of ByuN, though. The good news is that he's going to have charge, so he'll have charge lots to help out. And that was always going to be the issue with this first drop, is that he just didn't have the charge lots ready to go. So yeah, I was really excited to see if these Stalkers were actually able to get out alive or not. And in the end, yes, they absolutely were just about able to make it away. Everything settles down on the right-hand side. The Observer of Stats moves away a little bit. A few more Zealots warping in down on the bottom right. I'm just going to be seeing ByuN continue to move out down the bottom side here. A couple of Liberators on the way out as well. You can see our Bio stimming through. There's a lot of Widow Mines. It's actually what I'm most worried about, perhaps, as well, he didn't throw them just yet, but a little bit worried about the potential of what if these Zealots just kind of get completely blown up, because I really feel like the Widow Mines are the saviors of ByuN's army right now against the Charge Lots. I should say this the other way around. The Charge Lots are the savior for Stats, but the Widow Mines in good numbers can absolutely shut that down. As I think he didn't want to burrow them because of maybe the cannon. I'm not sure if it was just negligence or maybe there was some logic, and if you burrow them next to the cannon, the Stalkers are just going to try and play in and out of them anyway. Then, of course, he could step forward with the Bio and maybe try and force a fight. Obviously, ByuN just did not like what he saw, and so he didn't jump on the opportunity. His Stats featuring a supply block in his build right now, really delaying Colossus number 2. So Colossus 1 is about to finish. ByuN's going to see that popping out as he scans. And we are just going to be seeing the Widow Mines will have to back away. Widow Mines only so useful. He's going to... I mean, that's a very adventurous drop. I don't know why he thought those Stalkers were going to be. Right, I mean, he knew they weren't up here. Maybe he thought they were over to the third base, but yeah, I think the main makes a lot more sense. But he did scan before he committed, so he does know at least what's there. Now, this is really nice, denying the vision. You know, look at what Stats sees now. Before, Stats was very comfortable knowing where this army was going to be, so he was always in the right place. Now, Stats doesn't know where this army is going to be. He doesn't know how much of it's going to be where, when it's going to try and strike, what corners are being turned. He has to send a Zealot forward to try and pick up that info. Good play, though, because he pulls the Zealot back straight after, so he keeps it alive, and that could have very easily gone down already, and maybe now it will. But it picked up further info. It's told him that this army's coming in from the top side again, so you get the reconfirmation of where your opponent is attacking from. And ByuN continuing to make Liberators, and I gotta say, that doesn't really feel like a very ByuN thing to do here. But yeah, send up a lot of these as we got Widow Mines are gonna go off. I love what he did with the Bio here. He turned and fought and said, okay, well, you know what? Come in here with the Zealots, fight me. Plump up those Zealots, and he pulled back, let the Widow Mines do their work, using the Liberators as coverage as well. And now ByuN's just going to swing around the left side. Hey, why is there no Observer here? That's a pretty good question, isn't it? These Widow Mines all just going to get a chance to recharge. ByuN's just going to start base trading. Okay, well, he knows it. The thing is, he kept making libs, and libs are really good in these base trade scenarios because he can just siege up the base. Then comes in. Pylons are going to be the primary target in a lot of these scenarios. You want to shut down production. And obviously, supply block stops warpins as well. So that's kind of the initial goal here. As ByuN just sits on the natural, he needs to do serious damage, right? I mean, Stats has a third base. Stats has a fourth base building. So he's got bases to kind of turn around to. And as the Bio trying to snipe what it can, just trying to slow this down. Stalkers will now get the chance to blink in on top of the Liberators. ByuN's making his way up. Of course, Stats, if he feels like he's done enough damage, Stats can recall here. Oh my god, probes getting blown up in the center. One probe gets past those Widow Mines that were left behind earlier in this game. Do we have observers out? We don't have any detection. So the Widow Mines would only ever go down, actually. Well, the armory's gone, so they've lost their cloaking. Yeah, okay. So the armory has gone. You can see the Bio clean out the main. Okay, I mean, obviously full on base raid mode. ByuN's going to lose every single command center, though. Like, every CC is on the very least burning or already killed. He had one SCV. That's now dead, so he really only has the buildings he already holds onto. Stats, remember, has probes. And I believe they are over here somewhere. Where are those probes at? One in the main and one over here, and he's already building the Nexus too, so... yeah, he's looking okay. He's going to be the one to put ByuN under pressure. ByuN is the one that has to make something happen, because it might take a while, but eventually Stats has mining, so he will build up more, so ByuN really has to just go at some point soon. I'm not sure if this base trade is going to go the way he wants it to. I'm not convinced. Here we go against Stimmin. He is going to find the Stalkers off to the side. Widowmine's going to try and burrow up. He's going to send the Marauders to the right to try and catch the Stalkers. Widowmines get really good shots off. If there was ever going to be a way, it was probably with Widowmine shots like that. It's just not enough, and Stats has too much here. The Mortal actually did mega damage to what was a very Marauder-heavy force. GG's. Top right-hand side, our red Protoss player is Stats from the Afrika Freaks, and boy, it got close. It just was enough for him in the end. He had that base trade under control. That one probe that made it to the upper left, by the way. The one probe, when all of those probes ran through the mines, if that probe didn't make it out, his only probe was in the main base. And so he wouldn't have had that Nexus. He wouldn't have had those structures to build. And that's a completely different scenario. So that's how close that game became. One probe that didn't get blown up by those random Widow Mines that were left in the middle of the map. As in the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player is ByuN, of course. I don't blame him for going for the base trade. I think he did it right. It's just always going to be difficult to catch all the probes, especially when Stats is up on a third base already. He obviously had no way of kind of rebuilding himself or anything. I mean, if you rebuild yourself, I don't even know if it's any better, because actually Stats is pretty good at, kind of fighting from a distance. That said, if you do rebuild yourself, at least then Stats has to, attack into you. And we know that that's then obviously not going to go very well typically. So, all right, well, a few ways to look at that one. The double engineering bay block from ByuN across the map as we have some action early. So double engineering bay is blocking up here, and Stats just, being slowed down, but it's slowed down at the cost of 250 minerals. So he only cancels one, and now you can start the command center. But overall, this even costs you 60 minerals permanently, which is obviously a pretty big issue as well. That's a lot of money, honestly. So yeah, not really ideal at the moment. We're just going to be seeing our Adept Chrono boosting out. I'm just going to be seeing our natural command center setting up as well. So getting that up and ready to go. The Nexus coming in. And the Stargate now building from Stats in the main base as well. So getting all of this up and running. I like the fact we go Stargate, just switching it up a little bit from that Twilight Council. We'll see what he wants to do. Oxide, typically a pretty good Terran map. The tanks and the ledges are very powerful. Obviously, one of the way to fight tanks is Phoenix production. Now, Stats, I don't know if he's going to go purely Phoenix here from the start. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe an Oracle first, because Stats does just love that for the map control it gives him and a little bit of extra potential. ByuN just goes 3cc, and I feel like that's almost playing on the map a little bit, because again, if Stats is expecting you to kind of play, you know, aggressively early with tanks, etc., early pushes, and he sets up Phoenix, which are great at dealing with harassment, they're great at kind of defending. Yeah, they can harass a little bit, but Phoenix harass doesn't make up for triple CC. So like I said, I feel like ByuN's playing a little bit to the map right now and just saying, well, I expect you to kind of play kind of a little bit safer. Yeah. So now he's just going to have a mega amount of economy. And like I say, Phoenix harassment doesn't really help with this. The good thing is that this Phoenix is going to come across to scout. And if it can at least see that third CC in the main base already, that would be really good information for Stats to have, because then he can respond to it. He can play around it. Phoenix getting pushed around. We do see another one joining up. But yeah, really all the information you need here is Stats. You will continue with Phoenix production, goes straight into the Robo facility, and an extra gate. So I think you should just be able to put the third Nexus down without too many issues here, right? I think you should just be able to set this up, because I say that, I mean, there's a pretty decent Marine count coming across the map, and I mean, the warping potential right now is one gateway. I mean, maybe the Robo before an extra gate is problematic. Yeah, I mean, we're just not going to get a third base up just yet. These Marines arrive, double check there's no third base, and, well, just the Phoenix. Shield battery, there shouldn't be much you can really do as ByuN. He's just going to double check the other side of this. And I think he wants to double check the other third, just in case. He actually kills an Adept. And Stats actually didn't really have much for this. This is actually pretty cool out of ByuN, seeing it's a Phoenix open and being like, okay, well, actually, I can take advantage of that. I can use that as an opportunity to bring my Marines out onto the map, bring them across, and yeah, really control the map, despite the fact that you have a Stargate opener. Because he basically just says, I don't care what the Phoenix do across the map. If they kill a few SCVs, like I was saying, he just absorbs that damage with the early third base, so it allows him to be across the map where just turrets will get the job done defensively. It's starting to be a little bit of a better army, but he's actually going to have Stim now, so maybe it's not a better army with Stim done. Immortal gets caught. Okay, shield battery saves it. ByuN respects the battery, backs away, finds maybe an Adept again, not quite a kill. Okay, but he still kill off the sentry. And Stats survives, but all of this is surviving on two bases, while ByuN's economy is going to run rampant in this game. 47 SCVs to 45 probes. Turret putting some damage out. Phoenix taking some hits. Adepts and Immortal in the main base. Going to get rid of the last few Marines. And we do have a Nexus building up on this top side third base as well. Orbital of ByuN going to fly down into the third location with a few Phoenix continuing to set up. Just want to attack about to finish up. Combat Shield's going to be done soon. Conquest of Shells on the way in as everything builds up in the main. We're just going to have our Marines chasing the Phoenix down at the moment with the Robo Bay out in the natural expansion. He's going to grab a second SCV, so that's two SCVs killed. A Marine float up into the medevac. Just going to be seeing the Phoenix chasing this around. Marines are going to get lifted up. So a couple Marines already dropping. The Phoenix back away, and again, third Nexus finally coming through. It's going to finish at 7 minutes, and the Terran third already mining as an orbital. 54 SCVs. Like I said, I really love where this game has been setting up for ByuN. As Stats, well, he is going to have Colossus. You know, his army is going to be decent. He's got triple Immortal, he's got Phoenix as support, he's got Colossus as splash. Okay, this is really nice from Stats as well. Gets a lift on a tank. Shutting down reinforcements. Now starts to lift Marines. And yeah, just going to completely shut down reinforcements. So that's amazing, because now you can't get as much up as you'd like as ByuN. He is going to take full advantage of the Phoenix being across the map, but then a single Phoenix saw this drop coming. So he's just going to unload back away and say, okay, not today. Not worth the commitment. So he's just going to back away from this, and Stats doing a great job defensively then. Really keeping track of all of this. Alright, great effort, as we do see a couple of tech labs building from ByuN over in the main base. Bio army at the front, trying to see what's up. The Phoenix still kind of up on the top side as well. Stats is going to bring a bit of army around the left-hand side here. Charges on the way through, +1 attack, extended thermal lens. All of this underway as we do have our assimilators dropping into the third base. Again, the assimilators up and running now. Scan out on this left side is just Spawn for observers. Obviously, there's no observers, though. It's just Phoenix. I've been doing a very good job of tracking this army, and they're going to come back in. And again, the value these Phoenix have found has been amazing. I didn't like the Phoenix opener versus what we saw initially, but the more I see of these Phoenix, the more they're absolutely paying for themselves. Like I said, I mean, there's so many reinforcements they've picked off, getting some SCVs now too. Okay, now they're kind of out of energy, and they have to make sure they find a way out of here, but yeah, even that's keeping ByuN back, so it gives Stats more time to get set up. Ghost Academy will be done in a few short moments, so you're going to be able to start getting ghosts. They hit EMPs across this army as well. So something else to watch out for there as our Phoenix of Stats will move around the left side in the bio. Starting to make a little bit of a push forward. I definitely think, I mean, in a way, ByuN's like, oh, I kind of want to fight, but at the same time, he's like, I kind of want to get ghosts, don't I? He's going to have to babysit those ghosts. The last thing you want to do is to let these Phoenix just pick up a bunch of ghosts and to find value in that regard, because that would be truly something somewhat disastrous, really. Bio gets up here, will kill off the rocks. Takes that down. And again, just extra ghosts continue to pour on out with a turret down on the bottom side of the map. The Phoenix just set up in the center as well. Still flying back to the top side. And ByuN is just scanning, looking for an observer, and all the rest of it here is an EMP lands and a bunch of Phoenix are going to get caught in that EMP to begin with. They are going to find a ghost in the back. That's, again, one of the things I feel like you didn't want to have happen. And now, you know, the EMP is nice, but you've only got one EMP for this fight. As a couple tanks will set up. What do you EMP for the best? There's not really a good choice, is there? If you hit the shield battery, it's just going to be overcharged. And it's kind of just choose your poison. Immortals, Archon, Colossus, and Zards. Anything's going to be decent. But ByuN just says hello. Just stims in, kills the Colossus, runs away. Now he's just going to take the fight. Phoenix show up. Well, this really came out of nowhere almost, and now Stats just sort of leaps on the opportunity as ByuN. He just doesn't have enough. So Stats is going to continue to chase this back. Good jump from Stats. After losing a Colossus, I think a lot of people will be like, whoa, what the heck? Oh my god, just lost some splash. But Stats says, no, I'm going to jump because a lot of your units are in medevacs. You don't have everything on the ground ready to fight. And Stats found the perfect chance to break forward and out of that position, which was always going to be a little bit of a tough one. And now has an army supply lead, looking to maybe fight into the rest of this army. Since tower goes down, now Phoenix still dancing around on the left side. And we do see Stats putting some damage out on these depots here. Some missile turret shots bringing the Phoenix low, and Stats is just going to be in range of this mineral line. So we already see SCV starting to fall. Bioforce spreading out a little bit, and we do just have Stats will in the end have to take a step back or two. Sort of deal with this. Marauders, Marines, 2-2 upgrades all on the way out. Dark Shrine of Stats building in the main base as well. And again, Marine, Marauder, Tank Force, all of this setting up on the left-hand side. Now we're going to be having Stats preparing for an attack forward. I move into this here is going to be seen. Here we go. Good EMPs. Zealots get hit hard. The Archons as well. Phoenix will lift up a few Marauders, take them out of the equation. I mean, Stats' army is melting. It's a really good fight from ByuN to start. Can he follow up on it, though? Marauders chasing this army down. It's just too much splash here. And the 3 Immortals, I gotta say, absolute kings in this scenario, too. The drop across the map found 7 probes, so ByuN gets some damage in return for the SCVs he's losing, and that will continue. We'll see if he recognizes the Dark Shrine there as well and gets some extra setup for it. Stats will clean up. Stats with money to spend, by the way, as well. Had a lot of money there. Spends a lot of it on High Templar just now. And then, of course, the minerals can go into charge lots. Stats has just done such a good job of preserving some of the important units in this game. These Immortals especially, like, you know, you look at them and they have 5, 6, 17 kills on this one. It's been alive since the start that nearly died to those Stim Marines. But those are all kills which are like Marauders, right? These aren't just like Marines and stuff. Like, they're picking up Marauder kills in these fights. That's what they're chunking away at. So these Immortals have been absolutely huge. They've really kept the core of this Protoss army together. I'm pretty sure they are the reason you don't get, you know, chased in that previous fight, because that was a moment where usually the Colossi get chased, everything dies, and you're like, oh my god, no splash damage. Terran's rocking a good life right now, but because of the Immortals, he couldn't do it. Zealot's going to come in again. The Phoenix lifting up some Marauders already. We're just going to be coming in and just seeing our Zealot Archon Colossus continue to push through. He needs to get the Colossus onto the army. At the same time, DT's made their way past this army, so they're already in the natural picking off SCVs. I mean, there is detection, but the problem is you have detection, you still need the units to deal with it, right? And that's what we're basically seeing not being the case. And now Stats re-engages onto the third base, and that is a dead third CC. And ByuN just does not have the numbers to stick around in this one. Looking fantastic for Stats to go 2-0, move through to what would be a qualifying match for him here. Best of 5, of course, in the qualifying round as well. And Stats continues to have pretty good control over ByuN when they play these matches. Like I said, just one time they've lost since ByuN's return from the military. 6-1 overall in favor of Stats in series, and it's going to move to 7-1 after this game. Because right now, Stats is on a death push. Now, let's say that Stats is taking some big EMPs, and he's continuing to just push in. I sort of believing that it's already a done deal. I'm only seeing being skeptical, because you never know sometimes when these EMPs go off, that Protoss army can melt. And it kind of did melt. It's just ByuN doesn't have a way to deal with any form of the reinforcements. So maybe ByuN was able to keep it going a little while longer than expected. Now some Colossus Micro 2. And you know what I mean? There's not a lot left from Stats here. A couple of Colossi, a couple of Mortars, and then Reinforcing Zealots compared to what he had. But it's still just too much, and that's why he strikes. That's why he does so well. GG. ByuN gets 2-0'd by Stats.